Welcome to the Know. I'm John Reisinger.
And I'm an unwilling hostage.
Yep. Microsoft's upcoming Project Scorpio is still a mystery in terms of hardware and features. So far, the only thing we know for sure are a bunch of buzzwords about it being the most powerful console ever made and that it's going to have a lot of teraflops.
So many teraflops, like a triceratops of teraflops.
That was good.
Thank you. But now we've got a few more details about how it's going to be handling improvements for current and future Xbox One games, along with a tiny bit more information about the hardware, thanks to some new leaks.
All right, so the good news, you won't need a 4K TV to appreciate all of Scorpio's horsepower. Plus, it looks like Scorpio finally got its official listing on Microsoft Store, meaning the reveal of the system could be any day now.
Literally. Well, it's got to be someday.
Literally.
Yeah. But the first leak, which comes courtesy of Windows Central, who is reporting some information they've received from multiple sources about Scorpio's super sampling for 1080p games. And if these leaks are true, it's the first actual details we've gotten about how Scorpio is going to improve the performance of games already released.
So, what new bells and whistles will the Scorpio have? Well, for starters, it will support Shader Model 6, my favorite shader model, for both the Scorpio and existing Xbox Ones. If you're not familiar with shaders, unlike me, they're basically the part of graphics engine technology responsible for effects like rugged terrain, neatly curved models, and fancy post-processing. Those are all really sexy terms. They also make games run more efficiently, and Shader Model 6 is the newest version.
It's also not really accurate. Whatever, it's fine. They don't have anything to do with curved. Anyway, never mind.
Curvy models, right?
No, that's poly. Never mind. Another improvement has to do with dynamic scaling, a technique used by many Xbox One games. Dynamic scaling is the process of adjusting a game's resolution, sometimes dropping it briefly, in order to hit kind of as close to 60 frames per second as they can. We've seen this mostly in Xbox games like Halo 5, but games like Doom have also used the technique on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One to keep frame rates as close to 60 as possible.
Thanks to dynamic scaling, that means Scorpio's power will ensure that games hit their highest resolutions more reliably and more frequently, and better yet, it won't need a patch to do it.
Well, so they say.
Yeah.
This is an improvement over what we've seen in PS4 Pro, where games didn't really get the benefit of the new system unless developers went back and kind of reconfigured their games to support it. Since there wasn't much of an incentive, really, for game companies to go do that, only a select number of games got true PS4 Pro support within the first couple of months of launch.
Because of that, Sony had to create their own PS4 Pro patch, which just released this week, providing a boost mode to up the frame rate on older games. If a game's frame rate was locked at 30 FPS, like Destiny for instance, it won't see any improvement at all. However, Scorpio games will also see an update to frame rate as well, according to Windows Central.
While Scorpio is targeting 4K, you're not going to be out in the lurch if you've only got a 1080p TV.
Okay.
Windows Central says that Xbox games with true 4K assets will also see vast improvements to graphics on 1080p TVs, thanks to the console's super sampling technology.
Super sampling is just fun to say. Super sampling is a technique where the image for a game is rendered at a higher resolution, usually at or near 4K, and is then shrunk down. We've seen this on games like Horizon Zero Dawn for the PS4 Pro, which means a better viewing experience even if you don't have a 4K TV. We don't have a 4K TV. It'll be a similar deal of the Scorpio, according to Windows Central, which reported that games that sport true 4K assets will also enjoy graphics enhancements on 1080p display. God, I can't talk. Which reported that
Lieutenant Dan, you don't have a 4K
we're gonna
TV.
play some 1080p. Which reported that games that sport true 4K assets will also enjoy graphics enhancements on 1080p display.
True 4K asset games would likely include Xbox exclusives, judging from some other recent leaks reported by Digital Foundry. They got their hands on some white papers associated with Scorpio that were sent out to developers, and they mentioned true 4K assets for titles like Forza.
I don't play it. I just know I get corrected every time.
Hey, guess what? You can have a prettier car.
A lot of this might fall in the duh category for things we expected from Scorpio, but it's nice to hear something a little more concrete considering how little Microsoft has said about the console so far.
It gets even more duh from there because Windows Central also claims that Scorpio will feature a 4K Blu-ray player powered by HDMI 2.0, which means it could offer a...
You sounded like the movie phone guy.
I mean, that's it. Brought to you with 4K Blu-ray player and HDMI 2.0, which means it would offer a wide range of color and HDR compatibility. Again,
And capability.
Capability. They're both really, they work in this situation.
I'm fine with either.
It's this man contact. I'm just so smitten. I'm a little...
Man contact is my favorite category on YouPorn.
Again, that shouldn't be much of a surprise. Considering those features are already part of the stripped-down Xbox One S model. But it's nice to hear they're not going to pull a Sony and remove the disk drive for some reason.
It'll be double nice when they actually confirm all this, but who knows when that's going to be. Microsoft's teasers for E3 2017 seem to be very Scorpio-focused, but Xbox boss Phil Spencer has recently been saying they'd rather focus on software at the show, meaning we could be getting the Scorpio reveal between now and June.
And judging from the fact that the company has now listed Scorpio for pre-order in their Windows Store this week, that could be sooner rather than later.
Interestingly, the listing for Scorpios claims that it's the first and only console to enable true 4K gaming and high-fidelity virtual reality. The virtual reality claim is one they backed off of in recent months, removing it from the Project Scorpio landing page on Xbox.com.
Nobody likes virtual reality anymore. It's a sad day. The true 4K gaming statement is interesting because of the previously mentioned leaks we got from Digital Foundry in January, which claimed that Microsoft is basically instructing developers to target checkerboard rendering, which is kind of a way to cheat 4K resolution that's used on the PS4 Pro, rather than true 4K rendering. True. It's smoother.
It is, and it kind of goes up a little bit.
Well, that's the ever-increasing resolution.
I got it. But regardless of how they decide to tackle 4K gaming, it's nice to hear that 1080p users won't be left in the dust. What do you guys think of these new details for Project Scorpio? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on Project Scorpio, remember to like this video and subscribe to the Know. Aims to support it. Since there wasn't much of an incentive to do that, only a select number of games got true PS4 support with PS4 Pro support. Since there wasn't much of an incentive to actually go do that, only a select number of games got true PS4 support within the first couple of months of launch.